Happy New Year, Matt. Happy New Year. We're doing an advice stream. I will try to help the audience today. My goal is to help everyone and change some lives here tonight. I will ignore all chats that are not asking for advice. Only will be answering questions from people who want some advice to start the new year on the right foot. We're going to start the new year right. What's up, Black Doom? What's up, Host? You heard me. We're doing an advice stream. If you want advice, you ask me a question for some advice. If you about anything, Laywin, you could ask me advice on anything, any concept, any question, any trouble you may have. I'll do my best to assist you in your troubles and hopefully change some lives here tonight. Gonna give some advice here tonight, advice to everyone. Because yesterday I was a little bit mean. I did not give people so much advice, but today I'm gonna give everybody the advice. Even if I don't know the answer to your question, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to give you some advice. Should I go to school in Japan? No, you shouldn't. Advice on stopping procrastination. That's a good question. I'm personally not able, I was never able to conquer procrastination to begin with. And so I am of the opinion that if you're procrastinating, it probably means that whatever you think you have to do is not actually something that you want to do. And maybe if it's not something you want to do, it's not something that you should do at all. So maybe if you're procrastinating, you ought to just reevaluate what you're spending your time on, where you are in your life. If you're procrastinating on university homework, for example, then maybe you just don't want to be in university, so you should drop out of school. So I think if you're prone to procrastination, you should reevaluate reevaluate your position in life. Maybe you want to try to reposition yourself into a lifestyle, a routine that you enjoy more, then you won't be procrastinating. So that's what I think. So I think you should drop out of school, Leyland. Drop out of school. Just don't go. Happy New Year's, PHLE, the Otaku. Happy New Year's. From now on, I will not respond to anyone telling me Happy New Year's because this is an advice stream. I'm only going to be answering questions from people who are looking for advice because we're trying to change lives tonight. We're trying to change lives. Okay, serious question. From 1 to 10, how hard is it to get a teaching job in Japan? And what actions could I take to make that an easier option? Okay, looks like somebody's looking for advice here. Well, the easiest way to get a teaching job is to apply for the JET program, which is Japan's national program for bringing English speakers to Japan, and you'll be an ALT, which is an assistant language teacher. I originally applied for this program, but I got put on the waiting list, so I didn't want to wait around, and I just got a plane ticket and flew to Japan and just did my own thing, which I don't actually recommend. I think the JET program is the best way to do it because I didn't know this, but the Japanese government actually subsidizes your housing, and they subsidize like your transportation. So you can actually take a free taxi ride to work every day, and it's totally free. The Japanese government pays for it. Your apartment only costs like $20 a month, so you're saving. It's not just about the salary you're making, but it's about all the money you're saving because everything is subsidized by the Japanese government. So within a 4-year period, if you make 30K, well, you make a little bit more every year, right? So I think you start at like, well, it starts at like 25K, and then you make 30K, then you make 35K, then you make 40K in your last year. You can do it for 4 years. So you'll have like, I don't know, 150 grand saved up by the time you're done with the program, right? So that's pretty sick. Definitely the best option. I probably should have just waited, to be honest. Now that I know more about the program, it makes a lot of sense to just do the JET program. Even though you're not really going to be teaching, you're going to be like a monkey on a stick. You're just going to be pronouncing words with a natural accent. You make a lot of money, and also you're going to have a lot of free time in the office at your desk. And it depends on the school, because every school is different, but I think most jets have like 2 to 3 to 4 hours every day. Like, I knew a guy who was a jet. He said, yeah, I had like 4 hours a day. I was just on Reddit. He was just scrolling Reddit for 4 hours every fucking day. He was getting paid for it. But you don't have to scroll Reddit during that office time. You have another X amount of hours per day in the office where you can do anything. You can use that time to study Japanese. You can use that time to read books. You can use that time to do whatever else you want to do. So definitely the JET program is what I would recommend. If you don't go through the JET program, it is fairly hard to get a teaching job in Japan. It is pretty damn hard, I will say. It's not actually that easy. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly easy to get a job with a company like Interac or something, but the problem with those companies is that they are also ALT jobs just like JET, but you don't get the added benefits of everything being subsidized by the government. You get shit pay. It's a gigantic corporation that doesn't give a shit about you. You get treated badly, etc., etc. So if you're looking for an easy option, sure. If you just want to come to Japan, sure, you can work for one of those big private companies that hires ALTs. Basically, yeah, ALT, assistant language teacher, is the easiest option. I was never an ALT, so I was getting like legit teaching jobs, and it was a little bit more difficult for me to kind of climb up the ladder and get to the pretty good job that I have now. So there you go. There's some advice. Any advice for someone getting into guitar playing? Any beginner songs or exercises you recommend? That's a good question. Look at that. Look at all the advice we're giving today. What a wholesome stream where we're just helping everybody. That's what I want to do today. I would recommend, first of all, learning to read tab. If you can read tab, then nothing is beyond your reach. Tab is pretty easy to read. So if you can read tab, then just Google some tabs for songs that you like. They should be songs you like. I could recommend some songs to you, but if you don't like the songs, then there's no real reason to learn them. And you're not going to have the motivation to continue playing guitar if you're not playing something that you like. So I think it's more important to find songs that you like and just try to play them. A couple things that are really hard in the beginning are well, first of all, pressing down the strings. You just got to practice pressing down the strings. So if you want to just practice, you can practice chord changes and making a clean sound by holding down the strings. Practice all the different basic open chords. Practice some bar chords. Holding down bar chords for beginners is pretty difficult because you have to bar your finger across the top and then press down more strings with your other fingers. So that takes some finger muscles there. So you might want to build some finger muscles. I would suggest actually not neglecting your pinky early on in your journey. because I kind of neglected my pinky. I rarely ever use my pinky because my pinky's weak, and it stayed weak. So I would suggest if you do that kind of practice where you're strengthening your fingers and you're holding down chords, then definitely try to stick your pinky in there and get some pretty good pressure in there with your pinky. Try to bend the string with your pinky like every day, like a workout. Think of it as a workout. You're trying to get your pinky up to snuff on par with your other fingers, because if you want to get serious about guitar at some point, then you're going to need that pinky. So that's something that I didn't do. I still am pretty bad with my pinky, and I would suggest strengthening your pinky. But overall, yeah, find a song you like, find the tab, try to play it. If you can't play it, pick an easier song, right? If the song you like is too hard, like Stairway to Heaven, then pick Sunshine of My Love. That's a good song. Or Sunshine of Your Love, whatever it is. Bum 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 bum. That's an easy song, and it's a good song. There you go. That's some advice about guitar. My other advice would be play piano first. Because I had already played piano, guitar was pretty easy to just pick up and play. I'm not good at guitar, but I've never really put much time into learning guitar at all. I can just play it because I know how to play piano. Alright. What books do you recommend or have used to learn Japanese? I don't recommend any books for learning Japanese. Books suck. They're all bad. I recommend not using, like textbooks, you mean, right? I recommend not using textbooks to learn Japanese. That's for sure. Except for Take Him's Grammar Guide. There's a free, really short grammar guide online called Take Him. Take Him. It's this Korean guy who wrote a Japanese grammar guide, I guess. That's pretty good for getting the basics of Japanese understanding. Take Him's Grammar Guide. Free online. Alright, who's who? I don't really believe you. Words are cheap. And words, sticks and stones, can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So you say you appreciate the advice, but then next thing I go, no, you're going to turn around and call me a stinky big-nosed Jew. So, you know what? You know what? I'm glad that you got some advice out of it, because I'm trying to keep this stream positive and helpful to people of all ages and gender identities. But I'm not sure I believe you. But that's fine. That's fine. What are some expensive guitars you may have had a chance to play it on? That's not advice. We're not doing an Ask Me Anything stream. That was yesterday. We're doing an advice stream. Favorite chord or chord progression? That's, again, guys, you guys are getting into this weird musical stuff, and that's not advice. I'm trying to give out advice today. Let's see here. What should I do to try and get a girl's parents to accept our relationship if her parents are from a traditional Muslim background? They don't like white people, and it really sucks. Now, that's an interesting question. I have kind of been in a similar situation before, because my girlfriend had traditional Indian parents. Have you met her parents? Have you sat down and had dinner with them? Have you talked to them? If you've never actually met them face to face and you haven't really talked to them, and then they're not gonna be cool with it, right? But if you try to be amicable with her parents and they like you, then that's all you have to do, right? But at the same time, you should ask yourself, why is it that I want these girls' parents to accept me? How serious am I really about this girl? Do I have big plans for the future with this girl? Do I want this girl to have my children? Do I want to bring our families together? Because ultimately, if you're getting serious about this girl, it's going to involve her family as well. So do you really think it's worth the trouble? Do you think this girl is worth it Do you think you're actually going to go the distance? Because if you mainly think you just want to kind of date her for a while and have fun and you're not too serious about it, then of course her parents are not going to quote unquote accept you. What do you want them to accept? So I think you need to figure out what you actually want from her, and maybe it's best to just give up now. What happened to your Made in No Place name? Made in No Place is my clothing brand. If you want clothing, check out the description below. You can get clothing. Made in No Place, baby. And we're still going to continue the No Place podcast. Stay tuned for episode 2 of the No Place podcast. It's coming. It's definitely coming. Happy New Year, Cellrec. Cute thumbnail. Are you trying to make me bi-curious? That's not related to the title of the stream, boys. We are doing a device stream. I'm trying to give advice here today. Where would you recommend living if you worked completely online? My New York City lease expires in the summer, and I want to live somewhere in Asia with lower cost of living with my girlfriend. Income is between 10 to 15K. Well, with an income between 10 and 15K, I think Japan is probably too expensive. You could reasonably live in Japan. The visa and everything might be difficult to figure out, but you could theoretically live in Japan if you are willing to, well, if you eat, I don't know, if you eat noodles, if you like ramen, because that stuff's pretty cheap. So depending on your dietary needs, you could theoretically live in Japan, but it might be a little bit hard. It would be too expensive to live in Tokyo, I think. But other cities in Japan are pretty reasonable. Like my rent is like $350 a month, which is really reasonable. And I live downtown in a big city, so it's possible. 10 to 15K monthly. That's pretty insane then. If you're making 10 to 15K monthly, you can live wherever the fuck you want, right? Why are you asking me? I've only been to a few places in the world. I've been to Canada, a few cities in America. Well, I guess I've been all over America, and then Armenia, Georgia, and Japan. So I don't know why you're asking me, man. You could literally live anywhere you want to live. Where do you want to live? Just go live where you want to live, you know? If it were me, I would live in Japan, but that's because I live in Japan. That's what I did. That's what I did. It should be pretty easy to get the visa, I think, if you're making that much money. Usually, like YouTubers and stuff, the big YouTubers have a pretty easy time moving to Japan and getting the visa because they're making like tons of money and the government wants them to come in and spend their money. Silly questions, but that's okay. This is an advice stream. I'm just trying to give advice here. Just trying to keep it positive. I've had an interest in teaching as an excuse to visit Japan for a couple years now, and now I've graduated. It's a possibility. I troll, but I love you, and I don't care if you don't believe me, lol. That's not a question. You're just clarifying a previous remark, I suppose. That's okay. I will allow that. I will allow some clarification of previous, little continuation there from Who's Who. Any advice on how to get into cooking? I'm not gonna lie. I'm really good at cooking. I can make anything, and it's gonna be really good. And that's because I understand the core concepts about cooking, which I think come down to a few things. Like, one, get high quality ingredients. That's very important. Two, balancing of flavors, understanding what flavors work well together. And if you understand that, then you can pretty much take whatever you have in your refrigerator and make something delicious. So those are two important things. However, I have stopped cooking recently. I'm mostly just eating raw foods because I think that cooking, for the most part, is actually a way to make unhealthy foods more palatable, to make cheaper unhealthy foods more palatable. Like if you look historically at foods like bread, pasta, pizza, rice, these foods are all kind of, they fuel the peasants, they're peasant fuel, the slave fuel, they keep the poor people working, but they're not foods that actually make you thrive. So when you're cooking pasta or something, the bulk of what you're eating is empty, and worse than empty carbohydrates. They're carbohydrates filled with, phytic acids and harmful anti-nutrients, and they're overly processed, and it's just not good stuff what we're eating. So because of that, like thinking about it, I've stopped cooking recently. I don't cook much. I try to keep it simple. I just eat raw fish, raw milk, raw eggs, raw meat. That's what I'm doing right now, these past like 3 weeks. So I haven't been doing it for a long time. I can't speak from experience, but just logically speaking, it kind of makes sense to me, kind of speaks to me, so I wanted to try it out. Yeah, like if you think about like pizza with the red sauce, the tomato sauce, it's kind of meant to mimic meat. It's got some cheese on it, which is an animal product. A lot of these carbohydrates that we consume originally were just ways to stretch animal ingredients. So for example, if you have pork fat, in Mexico they make tortillas out of lard, right, out of the pork fat. And so it has that animal nutrition inside of it. It's a way to stretch that animal ingredient. That's kind of where it comes from. Back when people didn't have a lot of money, maybe they had a small amount of animal product, and so they incorporated it into these grains and carbohydrates in order to just spread it out, right? Spread out their resources. Yeah. So basically, if you want to get into cooking, good ingredients, balancing flavors, but consider what you're cooking. Consider what you're cooking. Because a lot of the time we're just trying to mask flavor of bad stuff like vegetables, for like spinach or something. Spinach tastes bad, so you have to make some sort of like creamy sauce to go with it. But if you have to make a creamy sauce to go with it, then why are you eating spinach to begin with? Maybe it's just not something we should be eating. You know? How do you move to Japan as a US citizen? You find a job, and then the company sponsors you a visa, and then you get the visa, and then you can move to Japan. I flew to Japan first because I had a Japanese girlfriend, so I had the opportunity to just crash at her apartment and look for a job that way. But you can look for a job online as well. It's a lot easier to find a job if you're in the country because they don't want to wait for you to fucking buy a plane ticket and get all set up and stuff, so. You've lived in a lot of different places in Japan. I've considered living as a nomad. What are some negative or positive things that you've experienced? Okay, like you want advice about whether you should live a nomadic type of lifestyle? That depends on you, man. You already have a girlfriend, so you're already set up with that on that end. So I think it depends on how serious you are about your girlfriend. It seems like you are pretty serious about her because you want to move to somewhere with her. Which to me sounds dangerous because you can't trust women. So first, my first advice would be to seriously evaluate that decision and seriously consider what you're doing with that relationship because that's important. As far as like nomadic lifestyle, I think that it doesn't really matter where you are. The more important thing is who you're with. And so you can travel around as much as you want, but you're never going to really be happy unless you have good people around you or a good sense of community, which is like the next step, is the next best thing. If you're rooted in New York City and you have a lot of friends in New York City, then you might feel really depressed as soon as you move somewhere else, because that social interaction is important. And it's not just the social interaction, but it's kind of like feeling like you're part of something. Where if you're a nomad and you move around a lot, like I have been doing, you're never really a part. You never really become part of the community. You never really have the time to make real friends and have more, kind of serious connections. So it's something to consider. Most people are generally happier when they establish roots somewhere, where you choose a place. Maybe you could be like nomadic for a while and try a bunch of different places. And then once you find somewhere that you really like, that you want to settle down in, then I would settle down. I wouldn't just keep that lifestyle going indefinitely. I don't think you'll ever really be happy that way. And I don't think she will be either. Especially if you want to have kids one day. That's what you just want to have kids. I think if you want to have kids one day, you want to move to a more countryside area. I think it's really fucking terrible to raise kids in a big city, actually. If you live in the countrysides of Japan, so beautiful, beautiful nature, clean air, good food. If you live in the city, you're going to get fucking toxic air. You're going to have loud ass noise. Fucking just tons of pollution, man. So it depends on where you are in life, man. Now I want you to give me some advice. How the fuck are you making 10 to 15K a year? Completely online. How do I get into that? Why don't I just gave you like 5 minutes of advice on this. Why don't you give me some advice on how I can make 10 to 15K per month completely online? That sounds like something that I want to know. That sounds like something that I want to learn. Whatever you're fucking doing, I want to get some advice in that field, all right? In that direction. Give me a little bit of advice, huh? Can I ask what types of raw meat you're personally eating or would recommend? I can't really recommend anything because, like, I don't want you guys to get some sort of, I'm not going to be responsible for whatever happens to people. No, but I eat a lot of raw fish. Like, just this past week I had the raw head of an octopus. Like the head, not the tentacles. The head is softer and kind of goopier. It's kind of interesting texture. I had a type of tuna called katsuo, which is called bonito in English. I had that twice. I had beef, raw beef a couple times. Raw eggs, definitely. They've got to be pasture-raised eggs, though. You definitely don't just eat regular-ass eggs. You're gonna get some diseases. They got to be high-quality eggs, high-quality everything. And also butter. You want to just eat raw butter. And again, try to get high-quality butter. That's just what I've been learning recently and trying out recently. Not something I can wholeheartedly recommend from personal experience because I haven't been doing it long enough. So Crowtunes has several successful YouTube channels and a social media agency. That's pretty nuts, dude. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Helping people grow online. Maybe I've got to consult your social media agency. and then grow online. You know what, though? I think because my primary goal was to get the fuck out and come to Japan, and I dedicated the past kind of like 3-4 years to learning Japanese. I haven't been doing much else. Like, I haven't actually spent any time thinking about building a business or thinking about actually, I kind of took some time off, you could say. Like, I've been working, but I've had a lot of free time too, and I spent all that free time just learning Japanese. So I kind of pursued an area of interest for me personally without any consideration for making money at all whatsoever. So that's my fault. But that's really cool, man. Really weird that you're just chilling here in my stream. Most people in this stream are like Lewin, I think, just sitting around asking me how to fucking cook. He's living with his mom. Probably can't even make a scrambled eggs, this kid. So that's cool. Code, how was your New Year's? I mean, it's New Year's Day right now. What happened? My girlfriend was really tired this morning. She had headaches. She just slept like 13 hours. And I kept telling her, like, it's probably because yesterday all you ate is fucking bread and noodles. Like, she woke up in the morning, she had bread with a little bit of cheese, and then she went to work her part-time job, and before work she ate 2 more pieces of, like, some sort of bread. And then she came home and she had soba noodles. And it was like, of course your head's gonna hurt. You haven't given your head any of the nutrition it needs. So I basically forced her to fucking eat a raw egg. And then she felt better. The headache went away. Because her brain got some fucking healthy, fat-soluble vitamins and cholesterol, and it started fucking working properly. So that's what I did. I was trying to fucking help my girlfriend's headache today. And then she just went to her part-time job. She's going to come back in a couple hours. So I went to the gym. And now I'm streaming. I didn't do much. I played a little Magic Online. I listened to a Japanese comedy show while I was playing. Just chilling out, basically. How long did it take for you to understand Japanese and speak with confidence? I've been learning with a lot of listening and Anki. It is difficult, but at the same time, it's fun to learn new things. I don't know, man. I can't really remember not understanding Japanese. It's weird, but I came here at first studying abroad when I was 19. And at that time, I felt like I was getting a pretty decent understanding of the language. Just by being here and interacting with because I was living at a dorm, so just by interacting with all my dorm mates, I was understanding a lot. Maybe I'm just a really optimistic person and I just see the glass half full all the time, but in my memory, I always remember understanding. Actually, I guess during that time I saw the DBZ movie with the purple cat, and I didn't understand that movie very well. So I guess, okay, I remember that. Anyway, I don't know, man. Call it fucking 3 years. After 3 years, I think I got pretty good. How to become more wiser? Is it all about experience? That's interesting. How to become more wiser. I don't know, man. I don't think... Am I wise? Are you asking me because you think I'm wise? I'm not sure if I'm wise. But if I am, it's because I try to think for myself and think about the logic behind whatever it is somebody is saying. I guess try to think for yourself and, yeah, try to think logically. I don't know. Try to I have no idea, man. I don't think I'm very wise. If I was wiser, I wouldn't be streaming right now. You have a partner and we split earnings 50-50. Your total monthly profit's 20-30K, which we split. Dude, you got to send me a DM, get me in contact with your social media growing business here. I'm interested. Like, seriously, bro. That's cool, man. I haven't had the time recently to actually go like balls deep online and try to actually get big again on YouTube. I think I've been working too much. I think I'm gonna try to start working less this year. I've got some plans on that front. But I definitely do want to do more online. Yeah. Just been slacking. Just been slacking. What if you get salmonella from the egg? I feel like salmonella is actually not a big deal. First of all, you're not going to get salmonella from the egg. It's just not going to happen. Like, look it up. Look at what percent here. What percent of eggs are contaminated with salmonella? It's estimated that about 1 in 20,000 eggs are contaminated with salmonella. 1 in 20,000 eggs. 1 in 20,000. 1 in 20,000, man. 20 fucking thousand. You're not gonna get it. I didn't even know it was that high. I thought it'd be lower. I mean, like I thought it'd be easier to get. It's not. Like, you're not gonna get salmonella from eggs. It's so unlikely. And even if you did, I don't think it's a big deal. I feel like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You get some, I don't know. Health requirements in Japan are different for that type of thing, I believe, as far as raw. People always say this shit. Even Japanese people say this shit. They're like, oh yeah, eggs in Japan, they're clean, they're good, they're, you know, high quality. You can eat them raw. Eggs in Japan are just as shitty as eggs anywhere else if you're eating regular factory farmed eggs. The type of eggs that you can buy like 10 eggs for $1, that stuff sucks. That stuff's poison. That stuff is laid by like sick ass chickens, and you can get some sick ass eggs that make you sick. Like, Japan isn't just better. Okay? Like the chickens, I hear the chickens of Japan are fucking super chickens. They don't got that salmonella on their eggs. Like, no, man. Eggs are safe to eat everywhere. Just get high quality eggs so that the eggs you're consuming actually are high in nutrition and not high in anti-nutrition. Would you recommend coming to Tokyo for a job with only $3,000? No. What? What do you mean? You mean if you already found a job in Tokyo? If you already found a job, that you can go with however much money you want, because you'll be making money, right? You'll have an income. Tokyo's expensive as shit, though. Tokyo's really expensive. It depends on where in Tokyo you're living. If you want to live in central Tokyo, you're going to need a lot of money. It's going to be very expensive. You're probably not going to find a job that is going to be, it's not going to be easy to survive for you. What am I talking about? If you live somewhere in the outskirts of Tokyo, it's just probably pretty easy. It's not a big deal. You probably don't want to focus so much on coming to Japan, though. Why do you want to come to Japan? Most people who come here don't actually like it so much, and then they leave. I'm one of the weird-ass motherfuckers who actually liked it and is staying, and I don't really have plans to go anywhere else. Can we get some motherfucking likes on this video? We got 4 likes here. We've got 30 viewers. We've had 200 clicks. This is a little bit ridiculous. How am I gonna grow my online business if I can't even get my audience to click a fucking button? This is terrible. I'm trying to save lives out here, giving advice, and we can't even get a click. House says, I got salmonella when I was a kid from playing with the baby turtle. There you go. There you go. It's bacteria are out there in the world, you know. Or do you want to be fucking sterile all your life and just be, you know, just live in this sterile, clean world and like some sort of laboratory rat? Or do you want to live like a fucking animal like you are, you know? Like a human animal. That's the path that I've chosen recently. I thought, you know what? I'm a fucking animal. It's about time to start living like one. So I've started to eat my own feces as well and drink my own urine. I recommend that as well. I would start with only 1 little teaspoon of feces, but you can work your way up. Recently I've been eating my entire morning shit goes back in my mouth. And I haven't gotten any salmonella from that either. Cody, should you depend on your girlfriend for your happiness? That sounds like a silly idea. Obviously, no. You should not depend on a woman for anything, really. Why would you depend on a woman for anything? For literally anything. Like, I can't think of one thing that I would depend on her to do. What have I depended on my girlfriend to do in the past? I'm trying to think. I really don't depend on my girlfriend for anything. Like, literally nothing. She doesn't even cook. I cook everything. I make the meals. I do everything. She doesn't do anything. Because it's not, I don't like depending on anyone, period, but especially not, you know, not to be mean here, but yeah. Why would a man depend on a woman for anything? That's my question. Are you a man or not? Are you a fucking man? Do you have any insight into what made Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen? This is an advice stream. That's not advice. So if you'd like me to answer a question that is not advice, then yeah, you're gonna have to pay me. Rick, Who's Who is right. You're gonna have to pay me for an answer. I specifically made this stream to give advice to the people out there to start New Year's off on the right foot, on the right path, a positive path. And then these guys come in here asking me these questions that I've answered several times before. Don't even click like on the video. It's just embarrassing, quite frankly, that you ask so much yet do so little. Advice on how to not get scammed in Japan as a foreigner, like apartment and hidden costs. Does scams even exist in Japan? Yes, scams definitely exist in Japan. I willingly walked into a scam fairly recently because I just wanted to move as quickly as possible, so I moved into a share house that was way too expensive. I would watch out for share houses in particular. Depends on where you are in the country, but a lot of them are really fucked up. A lot of them are too expensive. Definitely you can get scams. I don't know why you think you wouldn't get scammed in Japan. Like, Japan's just this magical wonderland where everybody's good and honest and nobody does any dirty or shady things. So, yeah. So how would you react if you're getting a serious surgery and minutes before operation a woman walks in? I would not, yeah. I would never allow myself to get surgery from a woman. That's crazy. I would never take surgery from a female doctor. That is crazy. Like, are you kidding me? I would make sure that my doctor is not a woman before I walked in for the surgery. Like, obviously. I'm not getting surgery. Like, come on. Just statistically speaking, generally speaking, biologically speaking, who thinks with their head, who thinks with their emotions, who can handle stressful, high intensity situations, and who can't, you know? I'm going with fucking statistics here. I'm going with the commonalities here. I'm not gonna trust my life to maybe, okay, maybe she's an exception. No, man. She's not an exception. Can you give advice on what to expect from women so you don't have unrealistic expectations and get hurt? Depends on what you want from women. Personally speaking, I have no plans in my life to get married, and I have no plans to have children. So, what I want from a woman is just sex and companionship. That's it. That's pretty much it. Just sex and companionship. That's all. That's it. That's all I want. So when it comes to having some sort of like interesting conversations or whatever else, I think you should have other friends for that. I think like you should have friends to cover other bases of things that you want in your life. You shouldn't expect your girlfriend to give you everything. You should have kind of a minimal requirement for what you want to get from her, and then that's fine. That's her purpose. One person does not have to fulfill X amount of purposes in your life. And I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make. I helped my girlfriend become an influencer this year, reaching 100K plus on Twitter, and in 2022 she will start YouTube and Instagram. Advice on protecting the relationship while helping her with work. Protecting the relationship probably just involves making babies, getting married, making children. That's how you do it, man. Because if she's just your girlfriend, let's say she gets really successful with Instagram and Twitter and whatever the fuck, and she decides, okay, I'm good on my own, and she sees another, she feels like she doesn't need you anymore. So once she feels like she doesn't need you anymore, then that means she's free to go with any other man or have sex with any other man. Because a lot of times and it depends on her prior experience too. Like, I don't know what her body count was before she met you, but generally, women who have a lot more experience are less loyal in the long term. So if she has a lot of experience and she's a little older, then it's pretty unlikely. Well, it can go one of two ways. Either she's very serious about you and she will get married and have kids, or she's very likely to be disloyal and start cheating on you, or just straight up dump you for some BBC. You know what I'm saying? It seems like you understand that this is a risk because of your question to begin with. Like, you understand this, right? You helped her, and it's like, you're working together essentially. So you were used. Whether or not she loves you and whether or not there's other things going on here, you were used, and you probably know this, and you voluntarily helped her. That's all fine. That's all well and good, But you got to look at things objectively and think, okay, I was useful to her, and am I still useful? Is she only with me because I'm useful? Like, etc., etc. You gotta ask these questions. If you want her to have your kids one day, maybe today is the day, bro. You followed the code style of virgin girls. Damn, there you go. If she's a virgin, you're probably safe, dude. You're probably fine. She'll probably stick with you. So, I think it's highly unlikely for a virgin that you've helped so much to betray you. I think you're probably good. Lewin needs to get a testicle surgery. That's kind of fucked up. That's not an advice question, so I can't do anything about that. Any advice on drug addiction? I have never been addicted to a serious drug, but I have been addicted to Oreos and also coffee. Those two things. And I quit coffee. So, from that experience of quitting coffee, I do have a theory about drug addiction. And here's the theory, because the first time I tried to quit coffee, it was very difficult for me to quit coffee, and I rebounded very easily and I went back to coffee. Like, I quit for a week and a half or 2 weeks, and then I was at work and I was like, fuck man, I need a coffee. And I went to the cafe and I bought a cup, and the next day I bought a cup, and the next day I bought a cup, and the next day, and I drank coffee that whole fucking week after stopping for 2 weeks. And then the most recent time I quit coffee, I literally have zero craving for coffee at all. I just feel like I don't want it, I don't need it. I'm not even attracted by the smell or the taste anymore. Like before I would say, oh, I just love the taste of coffee, but now it doesn't taste as good. Or it doesn't smell as good anyway, because I'm not drinking coffee at all. But like the idea of drinking coffee is not like, oh yeah, that would be so delicious. Like I don't think that way anymore. And I think it's because the first time when I tried to quit coffee, I had a generally unhealthy diet. And then I fixed my diet. And so now that I'm eating only high quality, highly nutritious foods, when I quit coffee, I didn't feel like I needed any extra energy. I didn't feel like there was something missing, because basically coffee is a crutch. Coffee is a crutch that you're leaning on, and it's making up for something else that's lacking. And maybe that could be applied to many different kinds of drugs, whether it's marijuana or alcohol. Maybe you have some other problem, a deeper health problem, probably dietary related. And if you fix that core problem and you're generally healthier, then you won't feel like going to these drugs, because you won't have that need, because you'll already feel generally really good. Maybe. That's just a little theory there. How to know if a girl is a virgin without asking or having sex? That's funny. Do you think it's harder to quit drugs or sweets? I think if you're a woman, it's harder to quit sweets. If you're a man, it's harder to quit drugs. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on the drug, right? Like heroin seems really hard to kick, but I wouldn't know. I've never done heroin. Depends on the drug, though. I'm sure it's much easier to quit some drugs as opposed to other drugs. Sweets in general is not so hard to quit, I reckon. But people just have no willpower, have no discipline, addicted to sugar all their lives, improper nutrition, so you just keep eating and eating and eating. That's what happens. Is religion important in living a fulfilling life? That's not really an advice question, so I'm not sure if I should answer that question. How do you stay relentlessly positive during hard times? I'm asking because a person very close to me is going to die soon. I've never had someone this close to me pass away. That's tough, man. Sorry to hear that. I don't know, man. I wouldn't say I'm relentlessly positive. I definitely feel like shit sometimes, especially the more I think about certain things. Like, if I go on Twitter and I see these fucking Azerbaijani accounts celebrating when an Armenian civilian is killed or something, like, they're literally killing Armenian civilians still to this day, over a year after the end of the war, and their country's celebrating and nobody cares. Like, when I look at that kind of shit, it's depressing. And when I think about, yeah, there's lots of things when I think about is depressing. But, I don't know. There's nothing I can do about it. Right? So if there's nothing that I can do about it, and it's completely out of my control, then why should I let it affect my mental health and kind of happiness, I guess? I just look at it like that, like, it might also have something to do with diet, because the gut and the brain are directly connected. So if you're eating a lot of shit food, you're gonna feel way worse. You're gonna feel crazy shitty when something bad happens. You won't be able to recover. Like, if you're physically in a shit place, then you're gonna get fucked when something bad happens. But if you're physically in a very healthy place, then I think it's hard to be negative for that long, because you feel good. A lot of our mental health is physical, I think. It must be. That's why all the psychiatrists and shit recommend exercise. But it's not just exercise. It's definitely diet. But nutrition is not really a widely known topic. It's like, common knowledge about nutrition is complete bullshit. Like, they'll fucking recommend you eat a bowl of oatmeal in the morning and shit like that. It's garbage. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's tough. That's a pretty serious question here on the New Year's advice stream. I don't know. Like, I've had family members die, of course, but nobody, I guess... Well, I mean, I've had some pretty close family members die. Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough question. I think the best thing is to... I mean, you don't have to be positive through a tragedy. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be depressed. Just don't let that depression kind of consume you, I guess, you know? There's nothing wrong with just being sad and negative. How do you increase discipline? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not very disciplined, I guess. I am pretty disciplined when it comes to some things. But when it comes to other things, I don't have the discipline. That's tough. I'm not sure. It's kind of a general question. Be more specific. Give me something more specific. Any advice on forest deforestation? That's a funny way to put it. Any advice on forest deforestation? What about Chris? What's up, man? I hope you don't get liver poisoning. Happy New Year. I actually had my first alcoholic drink last night of the past month, maybe 2 months. It was apple cider with some ginger in there, which I bought like 3 months ago and I never drank. That's discipline. But that's not even discipline. I just lost the urge to drink alcohol. Huh. Any advice on forest deforestation? Man, that's a tough one. You threw a wrench in my plans. What do you mean? Advice for you in relation to forest deforestation? Don't cut down trees, bro. There you go. That's some advice. I hear fasting helps with addiction. Look into fasting. I don't know, man. That seems like a bad idea. Fasting is essentially just starvation, and your body starts consuming its own fat reserves. So if you're starving for food and you're starving for whatever you're addicted to, that sounds like a bad combo. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you should gorge on delicious foods. And that might make it easier to get off of drug use. I don't know. But maybe fasting works. I don't know. I don't know much about that topic, but it sounds a little counterintuitive. Any advice on how to adapt to living in Japan alone? What's the difference between living in Japan alone and living anywhere else alone? I don't think you live alone now, Leywin. So if you don't live alone now, then maybe that's the first step. Maybe you should live alone in your home country before you decide to, like, if you're that worried about it, maybe that's a good way to adapt to it before you go to another country. Any advice on studying? I don't do it. I've never done it. I got through all of high school and most of university. I've gone through all of high school and all of university with like under 20 hours of studying, I think, total. Pretty much. So I don't recommend studying the traditional way. I think reading about things that you're interested in is totally cool, totally good way to study. I think taking classes at university depends on what it is, but it's probably a waste of time. It's probably better to learn from like mentors. Like we had a guy in chat here who's running a fucking multi-million-dollar social media empire here. You got to get this guy to fucking teach you how to do it. That's why I just told him I got to get a fucking advice from this guy on how I can be successful online, you know? That's what you need. That's actual studying, is learning from people who are actually doing shit. Not learning from some dusty-ass textbook about random shit that's not relevant. Alright, that's caught up with all the chat, I think. Should I end the stream? Now's my chance. 1 hour stream. Maybe we call it. I caught up with the chat. There are no more messages. I'm gonna end the stream maybe. Quick little 1 hour stream. Maybe I'm gonna go read a book. Crowtunes, contact me. Please, give me some advice. How can I grow the channel? Give me some advice in exchange for the advice. Teach a man a fish. Teach a man a fish, my brother. Teach a man a fish. Alright. See you, boys. That's it. Last question. Any advice on increasing my sexual aura? Yeah. Yeah. Stop masturbating and eat more meat. Crowtoon says you could tell me right now. Alright, man, tell me right now. If it's something you could just tell me in a simple chat during a live stream, then I'm all ears. I'm waiting for it. I guess I'll stick around. I was about to end the stream, but Crotunes came through here. I was about to end the stream. I guess I'll put the glasses back on. Shit. Any advice on handling difficult family members? What do you mean handling? That's again, that's another general word. Like, what do you want help with specifically in relation to your father? What do you mean handle? Like, I don't handle my father. I don't handle family members, you know what I mean? So like what exactly are you having trouble with? Talking to him? Like, just remember, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, so it's very hard to change people. Okay, that's interesting, Crotunes. Because I actually thought for a while that I should make a new channel because of that. I actually had the same thought. One of the things that deterred me from making a new channel was because I thought like I would be using the same AdSense account. So if I made a new channel, it would still be connected to the same thing. Like, as far as Google and YouTube is concerned, I'm the same person. It's like, does it really matter? You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. Like, if for some reason this channel is kind of fucked for whatever reason, would making a new channel really change anything if it's still connected to me and I'm still the same guy? But you're saying it is the right thing to do. So that's cool. What's the next step, Crotunes? I make a new channel. Should I re-upload that fucking gotcha video on a new channel and see what happens? Because, like, to give you an example, recently is that gotcha video I made. And I made that video with, like, the... Because normally I just upload whatever the fuck, you know? But I made that video intentionally trying to make something that I thought could become popular. And it didn't, because it got 0 views from related videos. It's not being recommended to anybody anywhere. And it got most viewers from people searching my name or going to my channel. Next point would be the mentality. I don't think you know what you want to do, really. I mean, that's true. I don't exactly know what I want to do, which is why I haven't really committed to, hey, I'm gonna make a new channel. I'm gonna make content consistently every week, the same type of content, and build up a new following or whatever the fuck. But all right, so let's see. So far, I've made a new channel. I've decided one thing, right? Just like one topic to focus on, one type of video, and then the next step is to consistently make that content. Is that all I have to do? Yeah, I mean, I guess I could keep this channel as, like, if I want to upload random shit, I'll put it here for the OGs, for the boys who are still here, you know? All right, 3 keys to success. Let's hear them. Consistency is hard. That's why it was so easy to be consistent with the manga and chapter reviews, because you're kind of pigeonholed into doing that. Like, you have to do that. That's what you're doing, you know? So you have to do it every week. So back then I had forced consistency. It's hard to have consistency when there's nothing forcing me or pushing me to make the content, you know? Alright, Worlds Away, I appreciate that that's what you think, and you think streaming daily so far is a good idea, but you're not Crotoons, and Crotoons claims to have a multi-million-dollar social media empire, so I'm more curious about what Crotoons has to say. You mean everyone starts out imitating, right? Yeah. Yeah, did you see that Gotcha Gotcha video, Crotoons? Did you watch that video I uploaded? I tried to make that video, like, I tried to make that video in a way that I thought, you know, it's kind of like a, yeah. I tried to make that in a way that I thought would be popular. I didn't make that how I normally make videos. But maybe because I uploaded it to this channel, it was already fucked to begin with. I wonder if I uploaded the same video on a brand new channel, if it would have worked better. It's true though, the consistency like gets there. They start recommending your videos and shit if you've been uploading the same shit for X amount of time. And then let's see. I'm waiting for the third key, bro. The third key. Advice on how to build self-esteem and not need positive feedback from outside people. If you feel like you're relying on outside, like other people, to boost your self-esteem, I mean, like, hold on. I gotta read Crotoons here. We got priorities here. Constant adaptation. Focus on your analytics. Pay attention to what's working and do more of it. Spend more time in the studio app. Enjoy it. Yeah. That makes sense. But that doesn't work if the analytics are just garbage. Like, on that video that I mentioned, it's just like, there's no, like, the people who watched the video watched it for the most part. Like, the viewer retention wasn't crazy high, but it was like 5 minutes. So that's like a decent chunk of the video that, on average, that people watched, you know? But then, like, there's no, I don't know. It wasn't being recommended anywhere, like, literally nowhere, so. Anyway, I guess I gotta think of a concept that I can do consistently, and then start a new channel, and then upload to that new channel consistently, and then see where that goes. Damn. Crotoon is very helpful. It's helpful to hear it from you, because I've thought that I should do that for a while now. Like, that is what I've been thinking I should do, but it's kind of hard to take the jump and commit that much time and resources to it when it's just like an idea that I have, and it's not like backed by anything else, you know. That's kind of like the hunch I had, but yeah. Hearing it from somebody who's making it online right now makes me more confident in it, I guess. I guess I gotta figure out what the new channel will be. Do I just do Japan vlogs? Just Japan vlogs every day? Not every day, it's too many. Every day is too many. I wish I could get in contact with Crowtoons once I had a hit video. That's really cool, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, the most successful videos on this channel were the convention ones, but the problem was I couldn't go to conventions very often, so I couldn't continue to make that kind of content consistently. But the first convention video I uploaded got like 2 point something million views. There were a couple other videos that got really big too, but that was kind of like topical. That was because something big happened in One Piece or something. Anyway, let's go back to... Thanks a lot, Crowtoons. I really appreciate that. I don't think I have the time or commitment or work ethic to really commit to something right now. So once I figure out a concept that I really want to go for, maybe I'll try it. But right now, yeah, I don't know. Damn, thanks, Crowtoons. Shit, man. Rooting for me for years. Wish I heard this advice a couple years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I really lost motivation with YouTube back when I first came to Japan. I got mass spam flagged. I lost the monetization of my videos. I stopped getting views once I lost that monetization. And it all started just because of like a lot of people fucking hated me and they fucking came after me and flagged down my videos. And after that point, I lost motivation. And I just never got the fire back after that point, I think. Huh. Anyway, how to build self-esteem and not need positive feedback from outside people. What is the self? Who are you, Sam Teller? Like, actually, who are you? If you don't have self-esteem, maybe you just have a bad sense of self. Like, maybe who you are is basically just a combination of a bunch of outside people, a bunch of other people, and you listen to things that they say, and you've built up a combination of things you've heard other people say, and you don't actually have a lot of your own thoughts, and you don't actually, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to build self-esteem, well, first of all, you need a self. You need to have a self. You need to be you. You need to be more independent. You need to have independent ideas, independent thoughts, and think for yourself. And once you're fucking thinking for yourself, maybe then you'll actually trust yourself more. But if you've spent your life listening to other people and coming on to streams and asking me for advice on how to build self-esteem, then maybe you just don't have a strong sense of self, because I mean you just don't, right? So maybe you should try to do more on your own. Maybe you should try to think more on your own. Huh. I don't know. That's just an idea. Take Casey Neistat's upcoming class on filmmaking, then apply that to your new vlog channel. I could do a vlog channel, but I don't. It's kind of obnoxious too, like going around in public and like just putting up a camera everywhere, putting a camera in people's faces, and like that. I don't think I want to be like an out and about type vlogger. You're just kind of a douchebag. You're kind of like a, you know. I don't want to be a fucking douchebag. Just be like known in the city for being that fucking dickhead who carries around a camera everywhere. That's just, I don't know, it's like not my personality. I think I've lost the shamelessness of being a YouTuber. Back in the day, I used to be a lot more shameless. Like in the anime conventions and shit, I just didn't give a fuck. I would just run up to people and shit. But now I'm like, nah. I kind of like my feelings towards content making and you know have gone on like an opposite trajectory with the growth of these platforms. Like now TikTok, like when I was doing YouTube wasn't cool. You know? It was pretty weird for you to have a YouTube channel. And now it's like it's really cool. Now everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Huh. But now I kind of lost interest over the years. But now is when you really should be a YouTuber. It's got mainstream appeal, mainstream acceptance. Like if I just had a camera in public, if I told people I was a YouTuber, they probably wouldn't even care. But for some reason I feel like it's more embarrassing for me now than it would have been all those years ago. I guess I kind of just wasted an opportunity because I had been doing pretty well and then I kind of just quit. I let it various things get me down, I suppose. Been watching Coast since I was 12, now I'm 24 almost. Is that possible? That can't be possible. I opened this channel in 2009. Now it's 2022. Holy shit. Is that fuck? That's 13 years. Holy shit, that is possible. That's literally possible. Holy shit, Coolio Julio. You've been watching Co-Provider for fucking 13 years. What the hell? That's nuts. If that's true, that's fucking nuts. That's nuts. Advice on dissolving the ego. Do meditative breathing exercises every morning, first thing when you wake up. That's what the Buddha did, right? My fave code video is the Gutalala Sudalala. That was probably my most embarrassing video to film ever. Because I did that locally. I did that in like places I normally hang out and stuff. So it was pretty embarrassing to film. Like I was pretty nervous when I was recording that video. I don't know. I guess like my perspective looking back on videos like that is very, like I feel a lot of embarrassment. It's pretty cringe. But I guess from other people's perspective, they weren't so bad, you know? Advice on how to become your #1 fan. Who do you think is your #1? Anybody who's given me over $500, I would say, is probably one of my #1 fans. There are two people who have literally given me like $500, so I feel like those people are my biggest fans. I think lately Old Shaman has kind of fallen off when it comes to co-provider content. He used to be like a huge fan of mine, I think, and now he's not. Or I don't know, but now I think he's more focused on his own, you know, shit. I think he's just maybe, you know, I don't know what it is, but he's doing well right now, I think. And he's focused on his own shit. And that's good. But he was, I think, my biggest fan at that time, a few years ago. So yeah, Lay, when you give me $500, you'll be my biggest fan, number one fan. Until then, I'm gonna say fuck Lewin. Were you embarrassed filming the 4-foot 33-inch video? I don't know what that is. I don't know what you mean. Advice on how to get Uber Hikari out of retirement. I don't like Uber Hikari. I don't dislike him. I just think that he tried to overthink everything and make everything out to be very deep. Even when he would talk about Naruto. And we all know that Naruto is a steaming pile of shit. So he lost credibility in my mind when he started over-analyzing Naruto. Okay. I did like his Hunter x Hunter videos from what I remember, though. I think he had pretty good Hunter x Hunter videos from what I remember. Which makes it more surprising that he would fucking overanalyze garbage Naruto chapters. Because Naruto just copied Hunter x Hunter and did a worse job and then went downhill when it stopped copying Hunter x Hunter. It's really amazing if you just, like... Naruto is the perfect example of what Crotoon said. He said everybody imitates in the beginning, you know? Everybody imitates in the beginning. In the beginning, he was just copying Hunter x Hunter, and then he became even more successful than Togashi Yoshihiro. Which is just, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. You fucking hate to see it. Fuck Kishimoto Masashi. That guy can suck a dick. He's a thief and a crook, and he can't write for shit. And his manga sucks dick. It's garbage. That has not changed. That has not changed. High code. Hello. Well, I think the stream might be over. That's I've caught up with the chat. All that I see now is high code. You know, Crotoons, if you want to bounce some fucking ideas off me of types of videos you think I could make well, consistently, then I'm all ears because I don't actually know what to do. Maybe I should stream on Twitch. Start playing Halo Infinite very badly. I remember a vid when you performed John Cage's 4 minutes 33 seconds where you just sat there silently. Damn, man, I was doing great content back then. I do not remember making that video. I literally have zero recollection of that video. Must have been a Code Archives video. There are like 1,000 videos on Code Archives. Yeah, that would be something that I could do, I think, Crotoons. But that's something that requires like a huge gamble, you know? And I don't even know if I could do it. Like if I did travel vlogs, I would basically have to quit my job, right? I would essentially have to quit my job, go all in on traveling around and trying different foods. Right? And then that kind of content is also more difficult to produce. So my videos would look like shit compared to videos from like, you know, the Best Ever Food Review Show. You know, there's guys out there who have like huge teams, nice ass cameras, full crew, you know. So I don't think I want to compete with those guys. I could do some sort of like, I could do a local food thing, kind of like the pizza review guy, the Barstool pizza reviews, where he just does a pizza review every day, and they're really short. However, I'm not in Tokyo, and I think Tokyo would be the place to do that, because Tokyo is what people are watching. Tokyo is what people search when they're searching about Japan, going to Japan. Everybody goes to Tokyo first, you know. I'm not in Tokyo, so if I had a local channel just based on the city I live in, it seems like there's not much room for growth there. Not so interesting for an international audience. This man was singing and playing guitar with strangers in Japan. The type of energy could make for some really good vlogs. That's true, but at the same time, it's fucking COVID season now, so it's a lot harder to just like go up to random people and get on friendly terms and stuff. But I know what you mean. That's true. I could probably do that kind of content. The thing is, most places to go, especially where I am in like a snowy ass city, most of the places you go to are going to have loud blasting music. Like, I live next to a red light district, and I had the idea of doing a series of videos where I go to like different bars and just talk to people at the bars, you know. That could be a fucking channel right there. Just getting local interaction. But they all blast loud music and the lighting sucks, and it's like, that's just not an easy place to go and film with a GoPro. It's gonna look like shit, it's gonna sound like shit, it's really hard to do. Food, music, literature in Japan are things you love that I know about. Yeah, I've kind of changed my mind about food very recently. I'm kind of a picky eater now. Eating very high protein, high animal fat, low everything else. So I don't know how good I would be at food. I would just be so concerned about like, wow, this is really unhealthy. I wouldn't be able to really just like eat anything and enjoy anything. I could go around just like trying. I could review a fucking raw fish every day, and just get a different raw fish every day. That might be funny. That might be funny, but it's not. I mean, that's not something that people can try. It's not something people can relate to. Like pizza is something that everybody eats in America or, you know, internationally. Everybody can relate to. The pizza thing went big. Barstool. It's really funny. So I don't know. I don't know if I could do food. Music, I could try to like actually make songs and put out like a music video every week. Literature, I don't read enough to have like a booktube channel. Japan, I could make a channel just talking about Japan, but I feel like it's kind of like it's a tried topic. Like there's so many channels out there. To be fair, most of them are a lot more boring people than me. Like one of the channels that stands out to me is just being like the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life that is somehow successful is Charla in Japan. But I think she just got in early when there weren't many travel vloggers, and she just stayed consistent with it. So that's why she rose through the algorithm and acquired a bunch of fans and followers for this long, you know? But she's so fucking boring. It's really amazing. It's like, wow. If she can be successful, why can't I, is how I look at it, you know? So fucking boring, it's crazy. I think you'd be a good Japanese version of this guy on YouTube called Kirk Kaz. Man just goes around the world adventuring and showing us women. Huh. That's interesting. Maybe I have to break up with my girlfriend so I can do that kind of content. Let's see. Kirk Kaz. Alright. Is he like a Bald and Bankrupt? I really like the Bald and Bankrupt channel. I've never heard of Kirk Kaz though. That's weird. It looks kind of very similar. Yeah, so to do this kind of content though, you kind of have to like travel full time. You just like be going places and doing shit all the time, which is not like, that's not what I do. I don't know, because that just requires such a huge upfront investment too. By the time I get it off the ground, it's like I'm already in so deep. It's tough. It's tough to start a channel like that without a lot of money up front. Hanging out with random Japanese girls going around Japan. That's the thing though, like where are you hanging out with Japanese girls? I could like message girls on Tinder, tell them that I'm a YouTuber and I want to make videos and I want to make a video of the date and see if they're down for that. That's an idea. But if I'm like meeting girls like off the cuff, just like naturally, it's always going to be at like a bar, basically. It's going to be in a loud setting. That's where you actually sit down and talk to girls. I could just try to do like street pickup, but that's, you know, is that something I want to fucking do? I don't know. It's tough to think of a really good... Think about that first, what you're passionate about these days. That's fucking tough too. I don't know what I'm passionate about. This fucking sickness has consumed me. Because I got tonsillitis 2 years ago. None of the doctors could help me. It became a chronic condition, so I started doing tons of research into how I could fix this chronic problem without getting surgery, because I didn't trust these fucking doctors who couldn't help me to begin with. And so I've been on this like 2-year journey now of trying a bunch of different diets, a bunch of different treatments and home remedies and all sorts of shit. I've tried everything under the sun. And slowly but surely I have been healing this problem. But because of that, like, man, you can't even fucking imagine how badly I had these swollen tonsils all the time, like white fucking pus coming out of them and shit. It was miserable for a long ass time. And now it's finally feeling like I can start singing now. Just like in the past 6 months, I've been able to sing. I feel like I have my voice back. So I've been fucking incapacitated for like 2 years, basically. And during that time, because of that, I've been getting really passionate about nutrition and food and just like eating properly, like high quality food. And that's what I've been getting into lately. But that's not a topic that I want to use for a channel, I think. There are already tons of people who are doing that, and it's not very popular. Like, it's more popular to be vegan than to eat high quality animal foods. There are only like 2 or 3 channels on YouTube that are focused on high quality animal food type content, and they're already doing a good job, I guess. So, you know, what is there left for me to do? There's not much. I'm like quote unquote passionate about it right now. I spend a lot of time thinking about it. I spend a lot of my resources on it. But it's not something that I can I'm not a source of authority on the topic. I don't think I would bring anything new to the table if I did go down that road. So I think it comes more down to picking up on some of my other passions where I left off. I could do a whole channel I could go back to manga and just showcase obscure Japanese manga. That might work. But then, okay, so here's a question, Crotoons, if you're still here. Let's suppose I did consistent videos where I showcased obscure manga in Japan that nobody has ever fucking read in America. And, you know, I might get into some copyright troubles with this, I guess, but, yeah, fuck it, I guess, I don't know. Let's just say, let's just say that's what I'm gonna do, right? Do you think in that case, do you still think that I should make a new channel and try that from scratch? Or because Code Provider has been a manga channel from the beginning, should I just continue with that kind of content on this channel and assume that a lot of those dead subscribers that are not watching my latest content will come back once I start doing manga content. You know what I mean? If I do obscure manga reviews and showcase the actual manga and like translate it, you know, like translate it, do the translation myself, put the translation in the video, do a voiceover, just like I kind of did with the Octopus Girl video from way back. But yeah, would you recommend making a separate channel and starting that from scratch? Or do you think it would be better to continue on this channel? Okay. I should still make a new channel. Wow, okay. So it's just bad for the algorithm to have like a bunch of subscribers that are not watching the content, I guess? Like, Wow, we got a very nice comment here from NCR Ranger. Just do whatever makes you content. As long as you are okay, that's all I care. That's very nice, sir. I want you to be okay, too. If I'm gonna do that manga idea, I should probably get a scanner, so I'm not taking photos of the pages, like an actual scanner. I wonder how much a scanner costs. Like $300. Alright. It's good to know. Do you need any advice? We might be able to help. I'm already getting advice from Crotoons. Why would I want advice from Laywin? You can react to other videos and give your opinion on the topic or channel. That's true, but there's nobody like I haven't seen any content that makes me feel like I want to respond to this. Like, I don't know. That's the easiest fucking type of content to make consistently too. But also then you get involved with drama from the beginning, which didn't go well for me the first time because I ended up getting blackmailed to stop making that kind of content. New channel, obscure manga, clicky titles like the manga that changed Japan, etc. Scan the pages, translate, use some on-screen footage of yourself, talk about it, high production. Something only you can do. You're in Japan, you can find these weird manga, you can translate them, your literature critic, it's made for you. The only problem I would run into potentially is copyright trouble by showing the manga in the video. Is that not a concern? Should I not be concerned about that? Should I try to like alter the image a little bit to make it so they can't copyright strike me or something? Or should I focus on like really old, really obscure shit that probably is safe? But yeah, I think that is a good idea. That is a good idea. I think that's a good idea. I need a good channel name now, because Code Provider, not a very good channel name. Not the worst channel name, but not the best. Alright, only Shueisha is really annoying with though. Okay, that's good to know. And, what do you mean, so some on-screen footage of myself? So I shouldn't read through the whole manga? I should just take, like, certain parts of it that are the highlights and don't use too many panels, edit them, dynamic editing. Okay. I'm probably not very good at dynamic editing, I would say. I don't think I've ever done dynamic editing in my life. Maybe if you white out the text and overlay with some graphic perhaps. Whatever. This is a good idea. I should probably do this. It's a good idea, cartoons. Maybe this is a historic stream. This is where the idea started. A lot of the obscure mangas are really short. They're just like one chapter long in some of these weird magazines that I have. So I could show the whole manga. It's a good idea. The problem is if I buy a scanner, I've got no place to put it. It's a good idea. It's also an idea that somebody else can't really steal. They can't really copy it. You're right. It's a very me idea. And it would be fun to do. I should probably do this idea. What do you think, one more thing, Crotunes. What do you think in regards to like PC content? Like I've noticed, even if you look at a really mainstream channel like Mr. Beast, the most mainstream channel, if you look at his content from a few years ago, they were cracking like gay jokes, they were using some cuss words. It was a little bit like, it was like, you know, high school level insults and jokes, but it was still kind of like not PC friendly content by today's standards, you know what I mean? And since then they've really cleaned up and they've made sure that all of their jokes are like completely without any connection to anything else like that, you know what I mean? Like they've totally cleaned up their act. You know, my humor is just not like that, and I can never really do that. Do you think it would be difficult to get very far if the content is kind of offensive? Because if I do this manga thing, a lot of the manga I want to show are pretty fucked up. Like, there's a lot of fucking weird-ass fucked up manga. Do you think that matters? Or is it up to, like, how I present it? I just have to present it in a way where it's like I'm not supporting it or something like that? No, I don't know. If you were under my team, I could get my team to do the dynamic editing for you, but you of course either invest time. Well, I don't. You're saying that you're using a dummy account. I don't even know how to contact you, Crotunes. How am I gonna get on your team, bro? Nah. That sounds cool. I've never actually worked with anybody on YouTube before. I've always done everything myself, so it would be really cool to have somebody help with editing, because I fucking hate editing lately. Like, editing just takes so much fucking time, and it just discourages me from making videos to begin with. Like, I've been sitting on this podcast I've had for, like, over a month now, and I just want to get the podcast up, but I have to edit it, because there were moments, I remember moments in our conversation where he asked me, he was like, well, not just him asking me to edit stuff, but, like, also, you know, it was just like, we would ask each other a question about, okay, like, what, you know, there were just parts that I need to take out of the interview. And just listening through the whole thing again and like finding the parts to take out is so annoying. I hate doing it. Next time I do a podcast, it's got to be live, I guess. It's got to be fucking live. But yeah, it's definitely a good idea. And then also there could be related content where we go shopping for weird manga, you know? We can like go, like take a trip to Tokyo to find weird manga for the channel, you know? If the manga is fucked up, you could just censor shit and all due to what's going on. The more weird and fucked up, the better, to be honest. As long as you yourself are not supporting it, it's fine. Yeah, because I could have some pretty clickbait titles. Like, I literally think I found the most racist manga in Japan, like, that's ever been written. Is that a title of a video? Is that a good title? The most racist manga in Japan? Or, like, the most racist manga of all time? I have it. I have the most racist manga in my collection. I own the most racist manga that has ever been created. And it's really funny. Thanks a lot, NCR Ranger. Alright, man, I got the most racist manga of all time. It's a good topic, I guess. Huh. That's a hit video. Alright, Crotoons. Maybe I do need help editing, though. Maybe I do need help editing. How do I contact Crotoons when we're not in this stream? I might want to contact Crotoons and pay somebody to help me edit. Can you message me on Discord or Twitter or something? That'd be cool. Thanks a lot for your help, Crotoons. Any advice on how to ask a girlfriend for anal? I've never done anal. I have no interest in anal. If you have interest in anal, you're probably gay. Sorry. Cody, you achieved success before. You'll do it again, my man. All the best. Thanks, blessed. This ended up being a very productive stream. I opened this stream to help you guys, but I've ended up getting helped. My Twitter's just co-provider, right? I don't think I've changed it. It's just co-provider with no space. Just one word. Yeah, it's just co-provider. Because if I'm going to do this, I got to make sure that they're really good videos, like high quality videos. I'm not good at like high quality editing, you know, like professional looking editing. It's funny you say that, Crotoons, because I don't actually think I'm in a position to give much advice to anybody. But yesterday, a lot of people were asking for advice. And that was exactly my answer. I basically said that if you're looking for advice, no, what did I say? I said you shouldn't take any advice from anybody because everybody's different and in a different situation, and they're all speaking from their personal perspective. And if you're applying their perspective onto your life, it's not going to fit. So the best thing you could do is ignore most people's advice and think for yourself and figure it out. That's basically what I said. And then I thought, well, if everybody wants me to give advice, I guess I should give advice anyway, even if it's not the best thing in the world to do, anyway. Not all advice is bad. It just depends on where you're getting it from. You should definitely be careful about who you're taking advice from. Like me, you should not take advice from me. That's true. But yeah, you're right, Crotoons. You're right, Crotoons. That's true. I'd be interested in Crotunes. When I make the first video for the new channel, before I upload it to YouTube, to just send it to you and hear feedback. Is that something we could do? That'd be really cool. That'd be really cool to get feedback before I even upload the first video, just so I can start off the new channel on the right foot. You know what I mean? And NCR Ranger says my sense of humor can fuel my content, so it doesn't matter what my content is. I guess that's kind of true. That could be true. At the same time, that's kind of the mentality I was going with up until now, and it doesn't really work because what's more important is having the consistency, I think, you know? Like, it's all well and good to say, oh, it's okay, you're funny, so people will watch. It's like, yeah, but my videos won't get recommended on YouTube. They're not going to show up in related videos in the searches. I'm just getting buried by the algorithm. So I've got to figure out how to actually, like, you know, how to work the social media, whatever, analytics side of it, instead of just, you know, saying, yeah, whatever. It'll be funny. I appreciate that, though. I definitely appreciate that. Thanks, Resht. Code, can you do a room tour? I can't do a room tour now because I'm at a desktop right now. I can't really carry around this camera. But I could do a room tour. I think you should look through your collection of manga for video ideas first. Like, see if there's really a list of stuff for you to do. Make sure the concept is valid. Yeah, I definitely think there is. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. Reminds me of, do you know Martin Mihawk? Martin Mihawk used to look at, like, really obscure... Oh, he took his videos down. Oh, shit. Huh. There was a guy on YouTube back in my day when he used to do exactly what I'm talking about, basically. It was pretty low, it was super low budget, but he would just read through translations of weird manga, and that was the content, basically, and do commentary on it. It never blew up, it never got really big, though. But it could. It is definitely a concept if it was just presented differently, like with better titles, instead of just like the title of the manga review or something, with actual, you know, like the most racist manga of all time, or the whatever manga, the weirdest, etc., etc. Anyway, they're really cool, Crotonus. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Advice on how to get fast and accurate at typing. I learned how to type through RuneScape when I was in middle school. We played a lot of RuneScape, and I fucking typed a lot of shit, because if we were trying to sell something in the public market and it was a full room with tons of people, you would have to keep typing the same sentence just to be seen by people. So I'd be like, selling fish, 7 gold pieces, selling fish, 7 gold pieces. I would just type that 20 times, you know, and you just get faster and faster. So you can try to sell things on RuneScape, you get faster at typing. With the right presentation, it's a hit concept. Yeah, that's the thing. I need the right presentation. I need the right presentation. I should probably buy a scanner, huh? I wonder if these scanners are any good. Like, there's a type of scanner that's like, you know, it's overhead. Are those better than the traditional scanner where you put something into the thing and you close the lid over it? And there's this one called the handy scanner. What the fuck is a handy scanner? What is this? What's a handy scanner? I don't understand. Oh shit. No way. Oh my god, it's portable? And you just drag it across the image and it scans? And it's only $60? Holy shit. That's pretty sick. Is that real? Does this work? Scans to JPEG, PDF, whatever the fuck format. That's sick. I didn't know they had this. I didn't know they had this. Is this good? 4-star rating on Amazon? What the hell? That's pretty cool. But how do I scan 2 pages at the same time? Huh. I would need to make sure your beef from the past wasn't with people I'm cool with, but I'm even down to promote your video to my manga, anime audience, etc. I don't care about the beefs. Oh, I don't care about the beefs, but I don't know if they do. I could tell you what the beefs were. The beef was mainly with For Neverworld, and then I made a lot of videos about Double 4 anime. But I never really felt like I had a beef with him. I was just making fun of him for content. There was a beef with For Neverworld, which is long over now. I have no interest in like getting into that again. And I made a video about Misty Chronexia, which again was just kind of making fun of him for content. Never had a beef with him. Never really had a beef with anybody else, I think. Everybody else was like, if I made a video about them, it was just memes. It wasn't really serious. There was no actual beef. So if you are directly working with For Neverworld, then I guess you shouldn't be helping me, I guess. Like, I don't know. But that's pretty much it. Your phone has a built-in scanner. It's very good. Is that true? Is that fucking true? No way. I gotta try that out. Is that true? How do I find that? Is that on a Samsung? Does Samsung have a scanner app? What? Is that true? Scanning documents on my Galaxy phone. Launch the camera app icon. Align the camera to scan the document using the rear camera. Wait, what? You can use the camera. You can just take a photo, but it scans a document instead. Is that right? Interesting. Interesting. Maybe I should try to scan something. See if it's actually good. More. I don't see the scan option in the camera. Do I have to download this? Whoa, so you are cool with For Neverworld. Damn. He basically couldn't. I shouldn't say anything more on stream, but essentially he couldn't handle. He couldn't handle a video response where I just addressed some things he said, and he got real fucking. He threw a fucking hissy fit. He got real angry, and then he went down some dirty roads. So I've got zero respect for the guy. Disgusting. Basically couldn't handle intellectual discussion, and did some shady things. So I never really had beef with the guy. I was just making fun of him, and he couldn't handle it. That's it. It's true. I was just making fun of him, and he couldn't handle it. But, yeah, whatever. I could tell you what happened in like a DM if you wanted to know what happened. But I'm not going to get into the details on stream. But maybe it's good for you to know what happened, because if you've got some kind of relationship, then maybe it's good to know a detail like this. Try pointing your camera at a page in a book to detect and offer a scan. But that's only going to work if it's like text on a book. I'm trying to scan an art book right now. It's not scanning. Definitely not detecting shit. Let me get a not art book. Because then it's not going to scan manga then, if it's got to be like text. Alright, I got a book here. Let's see what happens. I've definitely taken pictures of books and stuff before. I've never gotten any sort of alert that it can scan. So yeah, it's not happening. It's not automatically popping up. So. Alright, in any case, everything's closed today because it's New Year's, and that's what happens in Japan. They're very serious about New Year's, so I couldn't go to the markets and get any fresh meat. I have to cook meat today. I'm gonna eat cooked meat today. I've had this frozen lamb for like 2 months now, and it's finally time. I've had it in case of emergencies, and now it's time to eat this frozen lamb. So that's what I'm doing. Alright. I'm not seeing any more chat. Thanks a lot, Crowtoons. Thanks everybody for sticking around, listening. I hope we changed some lives today. I hope we changed some lives today for the better. Alright? Have a happy new year. I'm gonna eat some lamb. And you may see a new YouTube channel from me in the future. See ya!